That wonderful sound of a beer cracking. You heard that so much last night, didn't you? And you still managed to fuck up everything.
But we're used to that from you by now.
Yes. You took that wonderful, elegant sound and you turned it into a night of debauchery and shame. Not good debauchery.
Just mostly shame.
Otherwise, you wouldn't need us. But you need us. Your Uncle Dave and your Uncle Kev here. Sports Frenzy 2.0. The Saturday morning hangover cure.
Your weekend edition, politically incorrect pop culture discussion.
Of course, we drop every Saturday morning. This particular episode dropping.
That's what she said.
Yeah, but not for him.
or you,
or her. Sorry.
He may not have dropped.
Wouldn't that be sad though if he couldn't drop? That's like an infant's problem.
Yes.
Where things aren't dropping. She wants things to rise. Blue Chew. Like we talked about.
Chew it and do it.
All right, it is August. It is August the 24th, 2024.
They better give us some damn promo stuff.
Give me one of the girls. That's all I care about. I'll be a test subject. All right, if you give me 5 Blue Chews, let's see what it does to me. Ladies, come on.
Let's go.
Yep.
Saddle up.
I will be a test subject. I will give my body to science. I will. I will sacrifice.
You will take one for the team.
Maestro will sacrifice for the betterment of mankind.
Oh.
All right, what do we always start off with, Dave, here on the weekend edition?
We start off with rock and roll, and I think I interrupted your date. It's August 24th, 2024 as you listen to this, just to make sure we get that in there for context.
Now, we're going back to last Thursday, which would have, of course, been, if I can do my math correctly, 15th?
Yes.
August the 15th of 2024, where Dave and I, along with Mrs. C, saw Living Colour for the first time ever.
As the headliner.
At the Sweetwater Performance Pavilion outside of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Now, it's a bare-bones facility. Make no mistake about it. It's basically...
It's a parking lot with a tent and folding chairs.
Yeah, but you're denigrating it a little bit.
It's a permanent tent structure.
It's like a hard plastic covering over it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do bring in food trucks. There are no permanent facilities in terms of restrooms or food.
No.
Now, it's right outside the Sweetwater facility, of course, a phenomenal place. Manufactures all sorts of great musical instruments and equipment. We've been there a couple times. We're going there again next month to see Rival Sons and Clutch. Once again, seeing a band we have never seen before as a headliner. And
yes.
Again, this year just seems like it's...
flying by?
Well, but it's coming together as like the amalgam of all these bands, all these great bands. We lost Night Ranger, and then we got him back again.
Yes, that was a beautiful piece.
So it feels weird to me. It feels weird, like this could be it for me. Like God is going to pluck me from this planet after Night Ranger in December. And it will be a glorious... The doctor always said I was going to die at 59. I just got to make it through Night Ranger. I'll be 59 in 1 month. And then all this, Dave, you look around the studio, all this is yours. All this glorious stuff is yours.
You're killing me, Smalls.
All right, kids. So, Living Colour live in concert. Opening act, The Y Store. You initially hated them. I mean, the minute they walked out on stage, hated them.
The first song, I'm just like, oh my God, this could be awful. But they improved. They picked up to be tolerable, actually decent.
Yeah, I just didn't like the lead singer. My problem was I couldn't understand a single word he was saying, I don't know if he was actually all that great in terms of his musical acumen.
Yeah,
The rest of the band was pretty tight. You know, guitar player, solid. Bass, drums, nice tight rhythm section.
got a lot of this type of lead singer.
Well, you and I and Mrs. C spent the entire concert, about 40 minutes they got.
Yeah, we spent most of it comparing who are they a combination of.
Well, the lead singer specifically.
Yes.
Because you came up with a great one, Patrick Swayze from Next of Kin.
Yes. Yeah.
And then Neil Young was thrown out there. Dave Matthews.
Mrs. C had it. The love child of Dave Matthews and Neil Young.
So, take that for what you will, kids. That should tell you that while they were okay, not the worst ever.
No.
Definitely not the best ever.
I think the issue was the vocals or the sound coming through. Musically, they sounded good, but we had trouble with the vocal pieces, and what we could make out, the lyrics were a little okay.
Yeah, and they seem to have a pretty devoted following in
Fort Wayne. They were
Wayne.
Local-ish.
Even though they came from California, though.
No, that was a different group.
Oh, I thought Mrs. C looked that up.
There's a couple of different groups. This one, they're more local.
Okay. So they definitely had a solid following.
Yeah, people knew their stuff.
Yeah, there were a lot of people singing along with their songs, and we're sitting there going, what? What?
There you go.
It's always tricky if it's a band you don't know. We try our best to do research on all these bands, and we still have to listen to Clutch. We've got 1 month left.
We've got a month to listen to Clutch.
Technically, between now and tomorrow, we've got to listen to a lot of Lynch Mob.
Yes, we do.
Even though I do know a little bit of Lynch Mob. But we do our best to do our research on these bands, but something like this, you need to listen. You need to hear the vocals. The vocals and the lyrics need to be clear and crisp so we can understand. Yeah, otherwise, you've lost half the battle right there.
Yeah. And unfortunately, the vocals are the biggest issue most of the time.
Yeah. Yep. Now, usually, because it's open, sound is not a problem at Sweetwater. So that was a little. We internally in an enclosed place like a Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis,
the bigger cavernous places, it's more of a problem.
Yeah. Even though we never seem to have a problem with Van Andel.
No. So. And the field house in downtown Indy is hit and miss.
Yep.
It depends on the sound guys.
Yep. All right, so we move on to the headliner of the night, Living Colour.
Corey Glover and the boys.
Yep, of course, headliners. Set list we've got in front of us, it says 19 songs. Not really 19 songs. There's a drum solo in there. They really didn't, at the end, play the full version of their theme song.
Yeah, what's your favorite color?
So, technically, I would say about 17 songs.
Yeah.
But still, great set list. Definitely everything I could have hoped for from them as a headliner. They played all the songs that I wanted to hear. Dave and I definitely needed to hear Open Letter to a Landlord.
Oh my God, that was freaking
because they
phenomenal.
Did not play it last year when they opened for Extreme.
No, they did not. That was one they left off.
Yep.
And they elevated it this time. They took it to a whole nother level.
Yep.
And it's just incredible live.
Yep. And we got our requisite share of cover songs. Loved their version of the MC5's Kick Out the Jams.
Oh, that was so good.
With Corey Glover yelling, "Motherfucker!" Because that, of course, was the big thing with Kick Out the Jams back in the early 70s. Was you didn't do that.
You did not use that language.
You used that language, you son of a... Yes. Kick Out the Jam. And, of course, MC5 going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame here in a few months. Vernon Reid actually did a collaboration with the MC5 before The remaining members passed away, so
Yeah.
there is a connection there. I was extremely happy to hear Type at the end. That's one of my favorites.
Very good.
We got Glamour Boys, which...
Which they missed in the show previous to the one we saw.
Yeah. So I had to show Dave notes from the set list from a few nights before. I believe it was in New York.
Yeah. That they totally missed playing Glamour Boys. And Vernon was trying to get Corey's attention that he's going to the wrong song, and Corey completely missed it.
Yep. Now Mrs. C almost got a selfie with Corey Glover.
Yep, but she's a little gimped up right now with a bad back, and she's trying to juggle walking up with her cane and trying to get the phone set up with everything, and it wouldn't switch around for selfie mode, and Corey couldn't wait around for that. He had to keep moving.
He did his best.
He did his best.
He tried his best. So very cool. Corey Glover, of course, walking around the crowd through Cult of Personality. I was very happy to hear some old school deep cuts like Holy Roller and Auslander.
Yeah.
Because I know my Living Color catalog inside and out. So
very good stuff.
Anytime I hear the deep cuts, I'm very happy. This was just an amazing set list, an amazing show from beginning to end.
Sounded fantastic.
Yeah. And there are people out there on Facebook when I do my little weekend music thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize Living Color was still around. I didn't know they were still touring.
Don't!
Are you kidding me?
Do you not pay attention?
They are one of the greatest bands live out there right now.
Yes.
They always have been. They always will be. They still got a good 10 years left in them.
Yeah. Corey Glover's vocals are solid.
Oh, my God.
His range is amazing.
Yep. I will go close to what I did with Collective Soul. I'm not going to go with the perfect, prestigious, mythical 4 frenzies, but this is very close. This is a solid, strong 3.5 frenzies.
Yes, I concur.
And
solid 3.5.
And
very
again,
happy.
this is why...
Very, very happy.
This is why I'm worried. We're seeing so many great shows this year from these bands that we have loved and admired over the past couple decades. I got a bad feeling.
Stop with your bad mojo.
I got a bad feeling, man.
Enough with the negative waves, Moriarty.
Now we got Lynch Mob tomorrow night. You guys, when you hear this, we've already seen them.
Yep, so you'll catch up the following week.
And then Sammy Hagar and the Best of All Worlds tour.
Yes, so when you're listening to our recap of Lynch Mob, the night before, we'll have seen Sammy and his Van Halen tribute.
Cannot wait. Oh my God, cannot wait. Cannot wait. By the way, news, he says that band, the 5 guys, because now they brought in this multi-instrumentalist.
Ooh.
So this 5-piece band, he says, is now the next band he's taking into the studio. Here's my issue with Sammy.
Sammy, pull your head out of your ass, take your ADHD medication, and focus. Where's Chickenfoot?
Well, Chad Smith is out with the Chili Pepper, so why can't you just say, okay, Chad, you do your thing. Jason Bonham is now in Chickenfoot.
Yeah.
And now this is Chickenfoot. You got Capriani, you've got Sammy, you've got Mikey, 3/4 of Chickenfoot.
It's Chickenfoot.
And you're arguably upgrading at drums. If you're not upgrading, you're at least even Steven.
Yeah.
So I don't understand.
Jason Bonham
just make it
fantastic.
Chicken. What are you going to call this band now? I mean, you've had the Circle, you've had the Wabaritas, you've had Chicken. Could you stop and just stick with the band?
Yes.
My God!
Yes.
Sammy, you're killing me. All right, before we move on to the songs we're going to view this week, and I'm going to let Dave take charge of this, I have some songs for next week.
All right.
And this is a very, very, very impressive lineup of songs. Did not think we'd get here in late August. I thought this would be a barren, dry space for new music.
But alas, shocking.
Okay, so next month, first up, we are seeing Stone Temple Pilots, Soul Asylum, and Live, right?
Yes.
I have new songs from 2 of those 3 bands.
Ho, ho, ho.
Live has a new song.
Wow.
Lady Bang, B-H-A-N-G, Lady Bang. She Got Me Rollin' is the subtitle. And that features actually one of the members of Stone Temple Pilots, I believe, the lead guitarist.
Intriguing.
Soul Asylum, second single from the upcoming album Slowly But Not Surely. Slowly But Surely.
Slowly but surely.
Shirley Muldowney. Freak Accident. And then here's a big one for you. You would not, kids out there, Dave here, you would not have expected this one. Are you ready to be floored? Are you ready?
I'm sitting.
Going back to 1996, they have found a song from Foreigner featuring Lou Gramm.
What?
A never-before-released song from Foreigner with Lou Gramm from 1996 will be featured on their upcoming latest, this is probably the 15th greatest hits album. It is called Turning Back the Time.
Wow.
I listened to it today. Not bad. Not bad.
All right.
It's not a ballad, so it can't suck completely.
There you go.
And then we got one final one.
What's David Lee Roth doing this time?
Yeah, I told Dave we've got to start making this a weekly feature. What's Dave doing now? Not this Dave.
Diamond Dave sings
a hidden track, a lost track that was supposedly a bonus track on a very limited release or an overseas release from Your Filthy Little Mouth, one of his last solo albums.
Yeah.
Mississippi Power. A little bit of a departure from what he's been doing lately with all the cover songs.
There we go.
And this is a little bit hearkening back more to the old harder rock stuff. So I think your Uncle Dave at least will like this. You kids should like this as well.
There we go.
And then maybe he'll take a fucking break.
What else has he got to do other than play with his dogs?
Please tell me you didn't watch the video for Baby Driver.
I did not.
Thank God. Thank God. Oh, I watched it twice today. Him in his overalls and his hair, his Dutch boy hair growing out. Oh my God.
God help us. Well, with that segue, let's discuss Baby Driver. Not bad.
Yeah, the problem is, as opposed to what he's done previously here, recently with the cover songs, Baker Street, and then with Tommy Two-Tone, 86753. He picked 2 songs that if you don't fuck them up.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. Here he goes for
way,
a deeper...
Way off.
He goes for a deeper Simon and Garfunkel track.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad.
It's not one of my favorites.
Right.
It's an okay song to begin with. But again, he's in his mode where he's paying homage to these, and
yep,
he is true to it.
Yeah, I'll give it a strong 2 Frenzies.
Yeah, just because the song isn't solid to begin with.
Yeah, he did not pick a strong Simon and Garfunkel song.
Yeah, so it's a 2 song, and that's all we can give it.
Yeah. Yeah, again, I watched the video, so...
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you're not giving it a half.
Yeah, well, I have to go grab a tissue because my eyeballs were bleeding when I was watching it a couple hours ago.
There you go. All right. let's move on to the Cold Stairs and Mortality Blues.
Loved this song. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. And that all is on you, my man. You're the one
Finding the Cold Stairs.
You're the one that brought the Cold Stairs in last year.
Yes.
And I went out, and I'll tell you right now, after listening to this, I got to get the last album. I got to order the new album, pre-order the new album.
This was good.
And it's
This
bare
was
bones.
really good.
Don't expect much. This
No.
is a bare bones blues song, but it is awesome. It is awesome.
It's tight.
Mm-hmm.
Loved the lyrics.
Yeah, the lyrics.
It's your
Oh, the
classic
lyrics are awesome.
blues music.
Yeah.
And like you said, it is very bare bones. Think of it as almost somebody sitting on a corner with a simple amp
Yeah.
playing through.
Yep. Like an electric banjo.
Yeah. So just very different.
Why are so many people, I'm paraphrasing here, but why are so many people obsessed with dying when all I'm trying to do is stay alive?
Yeah.
You know, I loved it. Oh my God, I loved it so much.
Yeah. I give it a solid 3.
That's where I'm at too. Yep.
So
Yep.
very enjoyable.
Yep. So yeah, I'm all in now on the Cold Stairs.
All right. Let's hit the Offspring with their next single, Light It Up. Better.
Yes, better.
Much better. This is getting back to the Offspring that we like.
Now, the one thing I will say is that it still disturbs me that the first 2 songs off the upcoming album, Supercharged, follow patterns that we've seen with the Offspring. There is poppy Offspring and there is hard rock Offspring. And both of these songs seem to follow that formula. Now, that being said, I'd rather have hard rock Offspring here
Then Poppy.
with Light It Up than Make It All Right Poppy Offspring.
Yeah, we like the hard rock Offspring.
Yeah, it's still I'm still worried about the new album though.
I know with the first one being released, that concerns me.
But usually their best stuff is the stuff that the true blue fans like you and I will find when we listen to the whole album.
Yeah.
It'll never make the radio. Slim Pickens would have never made
Slim
the radio.
Pickens never on the radio, but that is probably their best song.
Yeah. Their best stuff, for the most part, usually buried.
Yeah.
Because it's harder, it's punkier, it's got bad language. It never makes it to the radio airwaves, what they are nowadays.
Yeah. So, take that for what it is. You've got these radio-friendly. I'm still anticipating having some gems on the upcoming album.
Yep, so Light It Up, definitely better. I'll give it a weak 3 Frenzies.
That's right where I'm at as well.
Because again, I can't. It's catchy, it's cool, but it just there's part of it that sounds the same.
That's not.
Well, a lot of it sounds similar to older stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know how creative or new it is.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, let's go with Bryan Adams next, doing his version of a song he wrote for Kiss, Rock and Roll Hell.
Yep, he co-wrote that. This is, I believe, the 3rd version. Kiss, and then Ace Frehley did it, even though Ace Frehley didn't perform on this version with Kiss. He liked the song enough where he did his own version.
Yeah.
And now Bryan Adams is taking it back.
Yep, he's taking it back.
The thing about Rock and Roll Hell as a song is it's catchy as hell.
It is. It is.
This would be an ultimate sing-along at a concert. I could see an entire stadium yelling, "Take me out of this rock and roll hell."
Yes.
Now, beyond that, lyrically, not much.
No, but again, what do you expect from that era?
Right. Yeah, and I'll be really interested to see. I'm more skeptical about him doing War Machine.
That concerns me a little bit more.
Gene Simmons has put his imprint on that song. I don't see Bryan Adams
I don't know that
singing War Machine effectively.
vocally Bryan Adams will be able to hit that one. He nails this one.
Agreed.
His vocal range is perfect for Rock and Roll Hell.
Yeah, I think it's a very catchy song, and again, it's a remake. It's a song he originally co-wrote with Kiss, for Kiss. I think he does a great job with it. I'll give it, just because it's so ungodly catchy, I'll give it a weak 3 frenzies.
Yep. So, simpatico so far.
And now it's your latest pet project.
Now this one,
I have praised the cold stairs. Just keep that in mind.
I know I'm taking a flyer because this was one of the Spotify ads for Crossbone Scully with Everyone's on Dope. Listening to the brief bit on the ad, I kind of dug the guitar riff that had a good rockin' vibe to it and thought, all right, we're looking for something new. Let's give it a shot. Lyrically, it's...
coming
It's
off of Rock and
okay.
Roll Hell, I can't criticize a song for being bare bones lyrically, because Rock and Roll Hell
is
bare bones lyrically. Now, did you happen to watch the video?
I did not.
I will say this, and this has nothing to do with my judgment of the song. It looks like Ben Stiller is the lead singer.
Oh God.
It really looked, I was like, Ben Stiller must really be hard up for work.
So, no, I really liked the guitar work and I liked the song musically. But I don't know. It's that 2.5 range.
Oh, yeah, I'm a little lower than that. I'd say a strong 2.
So
yeah, I like the song to a
2.5.
point, but like you said, lyrically, not really the strongest song. It's catchy. It's better than I expected, given the title and the band name.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the band name.
No, the band name kind of sucks.
Yeah, and again, if you watch the video, not only does the lead singer look like Ben Stiller.
Does he look like a pirate, Ben Stiller?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, but then you've got a couple members of the band. I think they fired the drummer originally. I think was a woman. I think they just fired her and put a guy in there. But you've got another woman on rhythm guitar, and you've got a guy on bass, and those two in the video act like they want to be somewhere else.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah, they don't look like they're into it at all.
Well, there you go. There's a thrown together collaboration. Like I said, we're looking for something new. I like the guitar
but that's the
work.
thing, is it's a new band, and that's cool. But the lead singer, honestly, there's no Wikipedia page for him. The lead singer looks like he's probably Ben Stiller's age, late 50s, early 60s. And I'm like, this guy has to have been in some other band.
Something, and not.
Yeah, this guy is not in his 30s like the rest of the band looks like they are. So, I don't know.
Who knows? But we will be taking a pass on further Crossbone Scully.
Yeah.
Unless we
it wasn't
get desperate.
bad, though. It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't Cold Stairs good.
Yeah, I love the Cold Stairs. But that's, again, I love my blues and my southern rock, so that's right in my wheelhouse.
That's why Cinderella is one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah. I just love that. I love that hard rock blues melding.
Yeah.
And Cold Stairs do a great job of that. Speaking of which, can we do a transition?
Let's.
Because do you have any TV stuff this week?
No.
But you mentioned Cinderella. Great segue. You always do this to me, and I applaud you and appreciate you for this. You always set me up.
It's one of the... We do not discuss this stuff beforehand.
No, it's all improv. Leading into my little bit of TV and streaming news. September the 17th. This might be a reason you and I have to get Paramount Plus, on top of the fact that Tulsa King Season 2 is coming. It has now been announced. The trailer is out there for September the 17th. The documentary adaptation of the book, Nothing But a Good Time, hits Paramount Plus on September the 17th. Of course,
Oh
Nothing But
God.
a Good Time. 500 pages of 80s hard rock decadence.
The history of all the bands.
Rat, Wasp, Cinderella, Bon Jovi, Guns N'
Motley
Roses.
Crue, Poison, everybody, Dokken,
Yep.
LA Guns.
Yep. So you are going to...
It's the stories of everybody coming from their Midwestern cities, hitting the big places on the East Coast, but mostly the West Coast. Everybody fixating on playing at the Whiskey.
The Sunset Strip, Gazzarri's,
Coming
the
off-
Rainbow.
Coming off of the success of Van Halen's big signing, leading into this rock genre.
The greatest era of music ever.
Ever.
So I cannot wait to watch this. This is, again, another reason why I might have to sign up for Paramount Plus, get a little bit of Sly Stallone with Tulsa King, and get my hair metal fix with Nothing But a Good Time, of course, with umlauts over the O.
Yes. Requisite umlauts.
Yep. Again, Paramount Plus on September the 17th.
Such a great read.
Are you still watching The Lincoln Lawyer?
Yes, I am waiting now for this fall. Season 3 is coming.
Yes, I have the official date for you. Season 3 of The Lincoln Lawyer. See, I look out for him. I don't watch the show, but I know he does.
I think you would like it.
I still want to watch the Matthew McConaughey movie first. And then if I like the premise, then I'll slip into the series. But on Netflix, Season 3 of The Lincoln Lawyer debuts October the 17th. So we got October the 17th for The Lincoln Lawyer, September the 17th for Nothing But a Good Time. Then finally, I know you're into reality TV, but I'm not sure what shows you watch.
The only reality TV stuff that I watch are like The Curse of Oak Island, The Mystery of Skinwalker Ranch, some of the Bigfoot stuff.
Wicked Tuna?
No.
Well, Wicked Tuna has been canceled finally by Nat Geo after 13 seasons.
Yeah, never watched Wicked Tuna.
Okay.
Watched,
Like I said, I don't know. I know you watch some of them.
yeah, no, we used to watch, what was it, Deadliest Catch for a few years.
See? That's right in line with that. So
Yeah,
I don't feel like I'm completely and totally
No.
off.
Nope, but never got into the Wicked Tuna. So,
Okay, we're going to take a little break here and discuss what next week's show will bring you. We've already alluded to the fact that next week our music segment, on top of the songs we have talked about, or was that off camera? Was that off mic?
the songs?
Yeah. Did we talk about those during?
We did that here.
Did we? Okay, so
Yes.
Live, Foreigner, Soul Asylum, and David Lee Roth.
Yes, because you mentioned the David Lee Roth segment continuing here.
All right, so you got the music, of course, Lynch Mob, live in Wabash, Indiana. We'll have that for you.
Yep, all on Spotify, Pocket Cast, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, Amazon, Audible, and iHeart Sports Frenzy, baby!
Otherwise known as iHeartRadio. Don't forget to check out the Facebook page, where you can find links to every episode of the Weekend Edition and, of course, the Sports Edition, which drops every Thursday morning. Horizon, the epic failure
At the box office.
at the box office from Kevin Costner. Dave and I love a good Western, so I'm all in.
Oh, cannot wait.
Horizon, as you're listening to this, will have already dropped on HBO Max, so HBO Max all of a sudden getting a lot of good shit.
Yep, they're
Which
rolling
we'll
right
talk
now.
more about in a couple minutes. So Horizon, we're planning on watching that next week for you. I'm still working on Jackpot, on Amazon Prime with John Cena. I have started it. Could go either way. The premise is interesting, kind of like Idiocracy.
Yeah.
You know, the future is fucked up, and this is what you get. And here's the big one, though, and this is on you, buddy. This is on you. I'm pointing to my right at your Uncle Dave. It got bumped up. We talked about this. It got bumped up a couple months. You need to play catch-up because part 2 of season 2 of that 90s show drops.
Oh, it got bumped up? My, yes.
Did I not tell you this?
No.
Maybe this was the week you took off.
I think that's the week I took off.
You get your 7 weeks of vacation with benefits and all that good stuff from Sports Frenzy, so.
What benefits?
Being next to me. Dealing with the exuding aura of the maestro. Yes, that 90s show, season 2, part 2, not part 3. Fuck that. This is season 2, part 2. As you guys are listening to this, is already dropped
Good
on
Lord.
Netflix. So, yeah.
Well, son of a bitch.
You wake up in the morning, as I will, and I will watch some Red Foreman.
All right, I got some work to do here, kids.
So there you go. That's a preview of what you're getting next week on the Weekend Edition. Couple trailers. Nothing big this week. The official final trailer, I believe it is, for Tulsa King Season 2 is out. And then they've got a very interesting, I don't know if I like the trailer for this one, but it was a promising idea. I think that looks like they've done wrong. Y2K. Coming from A24. A horror comedy about what would have happened if
it actually
right. But it looks like they take it way too far with the machines building machines amongst themselves.
Oh, no, come on. Why are we redoing Maximum Overdrive?
A bad version of Maximum Overdrive is what it looks like. With a bunch of teenagers.
Lame.
All right, so now we move on to our 2 big reviews. Yes, Living Color live in concert was huge. But these are more for everybody out there. You can get a book from your library, your local library.
That's right,
or you can go down to your local movie theater and watch a movie or watch it on streaming. So it's a little bit easier for you guys to relate to these 2 reviews. Some of you don't want to go out to a concert venue. I get it.
Fine.
We will start off with arguably the biggest book release of the last year. 2 titans melding together into one. One who has been dead for quite a while, and one who, I'm not going to say... Yeah.
The literary whore himself.
That would be James Patterson, who somehow everybody admires, everybody creams their jeans over, and I will still never to this day figure out why. But I figured I've got to read Eruption.
It's a Michael Crichton creation. This is one he had in the works at the time of his passing.
In the vault, he had done all the research. He had done interviews. Of course, it's Eruption.
He had the basis of the story all mapped out.
So he spoke to volcanologists, geologists, many experts.
Yeah.
So he laid the groundwork, the foundation for this. And then James Patterson was brought in by Michael Crichton's widow, and he gives you generic characters.
Lack of depth.
And a rushed, stupid ending.
A fluff piece ending.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Now, Dave will read a book. He's much more lenient than I am. He'll be much more willing to power through a book. What was the last time you said you actually stopped reading a book?
It was earlier this year, I think.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Dean Koontz.
Oh, no. I've given up on Dean Koontz like 20 years ago.
Okay. I am more willing to bail on a book very, very early. I give it 100 pages. If it's not good, I'm out. I'll move on to the next one. I don't have as much time to spare to read as Dave does.
I've bailed on books at 100 pages.
Yeah. There was nothing wrong with Eruption at 100 pages. I was intrigued. There's a nice little plot twist that they throw in there early on. It's not just about the eruption of Mauna Loa in Hawaii.
There's an army secret at play.
Yes, which makes things very intriguing. So that is what pulls you through the rest of the book.
Yeah, there's that other shoe that could drop.
And this is not, at least until the end, this is not the nicey, everybody survives and there's miraculous, things that happen. So people die in this.
Yeah, main characters will not make it to the end.
Yeah, so that I admired about it. So that's what kept me going through.
Yeah, you could tell the foundation and the research that Michael Crichton had done. You could tell the parts that he had in play. And you could also tell what Patterson did.
Yeah, I cannot deal with James Patterson's writing style. I can't.
Oh my God, how many times did they use the line, well, you can have a plan in place, but as Mike Tyson says, it all goes out the window when you get hit in the mouth.
Yeah.
It's 3 times that I can recall that line was used.
The problem is, for some reason, James Patterson, I don't know if it's because he's easy to read, he's like Totino's Pizza. He's like the Totino's Pizza of the literary world. He's cheap, he's easy to digest. He's not, for the most part, going to upset your stomach. He's not going to make you think.
No, not at all.
And I do this to myself every 10 years where I think, well, what am I missing here? Why is everybody like James Patterson?
You're not missing anything.
And here reading Eruption, I realize, yes, once again, you are right. I'm not missing anything. He's a hack.
Patterson is a literary whore. When his name is on a book a week that comes out, there's a problem.
But the thing with this is, he wrote a lot of this book.
Yeah.
Again, Michael Crichton has been deceased for, over a decade.
Yeah.
So despite the ideas and the basic plot were Crichton's, and you can tell that is brilliant. The research that was done, the basic plot with the twist, brilliant. The execution, which I'm sure was all Patterson, garbage.
Yeah, it was very lacking. And as you said, when you get to the end, you're like, what the flip is going on?
You can curse. It's okay, Dave.
Yeah. It was just a generic ending.
It's a terrible ending. It makes no sense whatsoever. It's an ending where you sit there and you go, if all these army people, all these scientific experts couldn't figure this out, and they're all panicking, and they're all trying to figure out, we got to do this, we got to take these extreme measures, or these extreme measures, and then at the end it's just such a complete and total letdown.
Yeah, everything's building up, you have it, and then it's wrapped up, and that's it. And it's like, what the hell just happened?
Literally in one page. You go from this big dramatic, are we going to see more characters die? Are we going to see possibly the biggest city on the island overwhelmed by lava?
Repercussions.
And then in one page they go, oh, well, we're going to do this and say, oh, it's all fixed. Good night. Drive home safely.
Yeah. You're just... a big letdown for the ending.
And again, Patterson is terrible at character development.
There's no depth.
You don't care about any of the characters for the most part.
Not really.
Maybe Maybe I cared a little about General Rivers. I liked him.
But there was no depth. There's just very superficial. All right, this is so-and-so. This is blah, blah, blah. This is background. Okay, great. But what really makes him tick? You don't get it.
That's true. Rivers has no backstory.
No, not really.
At least Mac, the main character, you get backstory
Semi-backstory, but
it's generic.
It's very generic. You get
divorced,
no backstory.
Father of two.
You really have no backstory
kids.
from his team.
No, none at all. None at
Who
all.
are major players. You've got the other volcanologist where you have the most bare bones information about him. It's just bad.
And then they have to insert the raging egomaniacal billionaire.
Yeah.
And they have to insert the husband and wife TV team.
Seekers.
Yeah.
And they are the most glossed over backgrounds.
Yes. Yep.
Just not good.
And again, the thing is, when I rate a book, I expect a book to be at least 3 frenzies out of 4. Maybe this is a good time for a refresher on we rate everything from 0 to 4 frenzies.
Yep, 4 being the epic.
Yes, the mythical 4 frenzies. We rarely give out 4 frenzies for anything. Concerts, albums, movies, TV shows.
Books. It takes a lot to get a 4.
But I usually, with a book, if I'm going to invest 350, 400 pages in a book, I expect at least a bare minimum of 3 frenzies. And it is the rare exception where I get through an entire book and I do not give it 3 frenzies, and this is the rare exception.
Yeah, it's...
This is a very, very, very weak 2.5 frenzies.
Very... And that's only because of the solid background work that Crichton put into it to start the development.
Yeah. No, I know you're leaning towards 2, and I'm going there too. But I can't disparage the work Michael Crichton did.
Right. That's why it's a weak 2.5.
Right. But it's a very, very weak 2.5.
Patterson did not do the basis of this justice.
And let's keep this in mind also, kids. If we give it a weak 2.5, that is not a recommendation. 2.5 is the borderline. A strong 2.5 is a tepid recommendation.
Yeah.
A weak 2.5 is a near miss. And again, It's only a near miss because of the work Michael Crichton put in. Nothing to do with the hack, the literary whore known as James Patterson. And again, I don't understand why everybody loves him.
I don't get it. I liked his early stuff. Along Came a Spider, Kiss the Girls. There was a little bit more to those.
You know what? I would love to ask James Lee Burke, our favorite writer.
What do you think of James Patterson?
That would be, if you said, you get to ask 5 questions to James Lee Burke, that'd be one of my 5 is, can you please explain to me what the appeal is of James Patterson? Your writing is so poetic, and it's beautiful, and the imagery is stunning.
And the background and the depth of character.
What does an artist, what does a writer like you think of somebody like James Patterson? I would just love to ask him that.
Yeah.
And see what, he'll probably be politically correct and say, oh, James Patterson's a good guy, you know.
He's a good guy. But he is not a great writer.
I would love to know what he really and truly thinks. That Patterson gets to sell.
Take his personality and everything out. As an author, what does
Patterson
he actually
sells
have?
20 times, 30 times more books than James Lee Burke.
Because he's more self-promotional.
When James Lee Burke is 20 or 30 times better as a writer. There you go, kids. So Dave and I are going to diverge and split off and read different shit now.
Yep.
So Dave will have 7 book reviews for you in the next month.
Yeah, probably not.
I might get you one in November.
You may have one by then.
The Gray Man book I just started is 600 pages long.
Yeah, they're a little bit. I'm pretty close to that on the new Sigma Force.
So, and then we've got the new Lee Child short stories collection coming out in September. That one I might
diverge into.
Jump into that, see how good that is. Now we go from a highly anticipated book review to a highly anticipated movie review. My God, we just got through Deadpool and Wolverine, and now, boom!
Furiosa, baby.
The 5th, not in time, but the 5th Mad Max movie. Of course, this takes place before Fury Road.
Yep. The Wasteland.
Anya Taylor-Joy takes over as the role of the younger Furiosa that Charlize Theron played in Fury Road.
This is her backstory.
George Miller is a fucking genius. And the thing that I can't stand is that it takes him so long to put these movies out. Now, is it worth it? Yes.
Oh, hell yes.
Oh my God, every fucking movie in the Mad Max series has been ridiculously good. I have to watch Furiosa again because I'm sure there is so much I missed because you are watching every little detail.
So much going on.
Every little detail in every scene is ridiculous. And you're trying to remember things back from Fury Road and even references to early on in the Mad Max mythology.
Yeah. There's a nice overhead shot that I'm not going to spoil for you kids, but there's an epic overhead shot.
Yeah, when Furiosa is in trouble and she is basically out in the desert wasting away.
Yeah. There's a scene.
Now, the interesting thing is that they bring in, and I'm surprised, the hashtag #MeToo movement didn't freak out and go, why'd you have to have a male character? You had to have a male hero, didn't you? Because they bring in this interesting guy, Praetorian Jack.
The original driver of the War Machine.
Yep, played by Tom Burke, who is awesome.
Brilliant.
He's almost like a nice version of Mad Max.
Yes, that's...
Mad Max with a really good heart. Mad Max has a heart, but this guy
This is Mad Max before his family was killed.
Yes. Yes.
Is the way to put it.
He has accepted his lot in life, but he still cares, and he sees a kindred spirit in Furiosa.
Yep, and he teaches her. Yes, she was young and needed to be guided.
And this is
Deal with it.
It's not sexual. It's not. There is none of that in here.
No.
There never has been. No, that is not the world.
It's kind of...
It's survival here. The sexual stuff doesn't happen. Everybody's given up on love. Everybody... all you can do is connect with people in the wasteland.
Yeah, and they have that mentor-mentee connection where he trains her, teaches her how to survive, and they look out for each other.
And basically, he passes her the baton, a.k.a. a shotgun at one point.
Yes.
To establish that bond. And then, of course, we have Chris Hemsworth as Dementus, who kicks off the whole story and ends up putting Furiosa in the clutches of Immortan Joe, of course, who...
And his twisted kids, Scrotus and Rectus.
Yeah.
And my youngest Nick pointed out, doesn't Scrotus look a lot like Butthead?
Yes! 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 Yes, I was thinking the same thing.
And he's not wrong. That's the first thing I thought too.
This was great. This was great, and I knew it was going to be. There's no way in hell I was going to believe the fact that it bombed at the box office. That's because people want to watch stupid shit like Bad Boys.
Ugh.
Bad Boys made almost 200 million, and Furiosa can't even make 70. Kiss my ass. Let's go see movies that actually have a plot, good acting, great action. Instead of listening to Will Smith and Martin Lawrence
go back and forth,
What, the fourth or fifth time?
Fourth time.
I love Furiosa. I loved it. And I had high expectations for this.
And so did I. It met my expectations.
Yes. If the only criticisms I could have about this is it's a little repetitive in terms of comparing it to Fury Road, but all these movies
had to set up Fury Road.
Right. I'm talking about the chases and the,
Well, but that's what,
almost all of these movies outside of the
that's
first
what the
and the
Wasteland
third.
is.
Yeah, I know. You got the Citadel, you've got Gastown, and you've got Bullet Town. And Chris Hemsworth does a great job as the villain. And he, of course, is the ultimate target of Furiosa's revenge.
Yes. And rightly so.
And a lot of people were making a big deal about his speech towards the end and saying that you and I, Furiosa, we're not so different.
Little D, as he called her.
But I just loved it. I loved it. Is it as good as Fury Road? It's close.
It's very close.
It's very close.
It's
I give Furiosa very strong 3.5 frenzies.
That's exactly where the boys and I are. Very strong 3.5.
Next to Deadpool and Wolverine, movie of the year.
Yes.
And Anya Taylor-Joy.
She did a phenomenal job.
Fantastic job. Fantastic job.
Oh my God.
Great job by her.
Very good.
Yes. Definitely, I don't want to hear the complaints about, they should never have, cast somebody else as Furiosa. She's fine.
She was perfect.
Yes. Now, one more complaint I have. Maybe this is why I can't give it the mythical 4 frenzies. Now, they did, again, George Miller is such a brilliant director. When he shows time passing, when Furiosa grows up.
Yeah.
With the wig.
The wig and the tree growing out of the side through it.
I thought, now that as a visual was brilliant. Cop out, though. Because we saw her in a very precarious situation trying to get away from one of the 2 boys. Was it Rictus? And then the next thing you know, she somehow ingratiated herself as a boy into the working force at the Citadel. Yeah. I would have liked to have seen how that happened.
Yeah, that would have been
the big
more
gap in the plot there. That's a big gap in the plot there.
If they would have done that, shown the progression from the escape into that role. Yeah. That could have solidified it.
Yep. But as Dave alluded to, there is a great overhead shot that, again, we don't want to spoil for anybody. That kind of is a little links things together, makes a little bit of sense. But the characters, again, George Miller's so fucking brilliant in all these movies. And if we don't get a 6th movie, I will be so mad.
We have to have another one, damn it.
You've got to bring Max back. You have got to bring Max back.
And I'm sorry, I want Mel Gibson back as Max.
If you jump ahead in time,
the time frame
there's no reason why you couldn't.
You have got to bring Max full circle with Mel Gibson.
And bring Furiosa back.
Yes.
You can bring both. You could have Mel Gibson and you could have an older Charlize Theron.
It can work.
He's got to. And the thing is, again, it takes too long for Miller to make these movies where you worry about, is he going to kick off before he and
Before
then
we get it.
and then the rights are going to fall back to, God help us, Warner Brothers,
Oh Lord,
the company that doesn't like to
where it'll
spend
be
money at
shelved
all.
for life.
Yeah. Oh, did you hear, by the way, about what Michael Keaton said about Batgirl?
Oh, that it didn't bother him that it was shelved?
Yeah. No, it was fun time, big check.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. Which means it probably wasn't that great of a movie.
You would like to think that he would have cared more.
Yeah.
And fought for it a little bit more, if it was.
Yeah, if it was a good movie, he would have fought for it. He didn't, and he's like, no big deal. Then maybe it wasn't all that.
Yep. So there you go, kids. Within the last 3 weeks, we have given you the 2 greatest movies of the year.
Yep.
Deadpool and Wolverine and Furiosa.
So now I'm going to give you a bonus movie review. On Netflix, we have The Union with Mark Wahlberg and Halle Berry. High school sweethearts separated as she went off to college. He's still stuck in his hometown. She's working for a secret government agency and her team has been blown up. She goes and recruits him knowing what he's like, how tenacious he can be, who he was, trying to reconnect. J.K. Simmons plays the leader of the Union, and their computer expert, Jackie Earle Haley. Kelly from the Bad News Bears, and not as creepy looking as he was in Preacher. This is one of those campy, feel-good action flicks. There's a lot of good sequences to it. It's one that my mom really liked. I was entertained by it. It's a very strong 2.5, so it's one of those that if you're looking for something to watch, you could find worse.
Can I be honest with you for a second? Do you know how much you hate Tom Cruise because of what he did with Reacher?
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Mark Wahlberg because of what he did to Spencer. I can't watch Mark Wahlberg anymore.
I get it.
I can't.
I get it.
He destroyed Spencer. That Spencer Confidential is a piece of crap on Netflix.
And I respect you for that.
And you know, you've read all the books, you've watched the old TV show.
I did not.
He destroyed that.
I didn't like the previews. I did not waste my time with it.
Yeah. No, I had to see what they did with it.
Yeah, I couldn't bring myself to do that.
No. Everything they did with it was wrong. And so I lost so much respect for Mark Wahlberg after that.
There you go.
It's going to take a lot for me to watch one of his movies.
This isn't one then to go with.
Yeah, it's low on my list right now.
Yeah.
Very low on my priority list. I was mildly intrigued when I saw the previews, but I've never been a big Halle Berry fan either. So
there you go.
All right, moments of silence. Wow, holy crap!
God Almighty!
Oh my God, especially in the world of rock and roll. My God, we lost 2 of the greats from our era. Dave and I, our era of rock and roll, the 80s. Greg Kihn, of course, the Greg Kihn Band, the breakup song, Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Man, I loved Greg Kihn. I thought he was fantastic. And then he went on. Love the fact that he went on to become a novelist.
Yes.
Afterwards. He gave up rock and roll and became a novelist, writing specifically horror novels.
Yeah.
So, you gotta respect that. A guy who's so creative, he's driven like that, where he succeeds in rock and roll, says, okay, my time here is done, let me go try this. And then he ends up being successful in a completely other creative realm.
Well, Look back, Jay Giles, the Jay Giles Band, went on running a car dealership.
Yeah.
So, gotta shift and adapt.
No pun intended, shift.
Yeah, I'm on a roll. Between this and the sports edition. All right, then the lead singer from Great White, Jack Russell, has passed away. God, he was not that old.
63?
63?
Yeah.
The last time we saw him, he looked at least 10 years older.
Now, we've been lucky enough, you and I together, we've seen both the new incarnation of Great White without him, and we were lucky enough to see him leading his own version.
Yep,
of
and
Great
I
White.
actually saw him with Great White, the original lineup, back in '89 on the Once Bitten tour.
And I think the thing is, I don't think he ever got over that tragic nightclub.
No, the nightclub
fire
thing destroyed.
You know, approximately 100 people died
Yeah.
in that nightclub fire because of the pyrotechnics at their show. And I think it just tore him apart. And I think that's why he always looked older.
Yeah.
And worn
even
down.
before that, he still looked older than he was. So,
Yeah.
he's just one of those guys.
Yep. So, in other passings, Hollywood Squares host Peter Marshall,
Ugh.
one of the greatest game shows ever. And Peter Marshall was one of the greats when it came to hosting game shows.
Yeah, he was really good.
Yep, he's right up there.
Not quite to Gene Rayburn's
I was
status.
going to say...
Nobody can touch Gene Rayburn.
With the stick microphone. Well, and Alex Trebek was great, too.
Oh, yeah. So...
Now, I love my cookies, kids. I love my cookies.
Chocolate chip cookies. Very, very good.
Yes, I was known in the past, which is amazing because I'm in worse shape now. Yet back in the day when I was actually thin and looked pretty decent, I would be known to go through an entire package of Chips Ahoy cookies in a night. But I secretly really wanted a package of Famous Amos.
Yes.
Chocolate chip cookies.
A
little bit smaller, but so much better.
So good. The flavor was fantastic.
Wally Amos.
The founder.
Oh, love Famous Amos cookies. Yeah. Love them.
Amos, unfortunately, has passed.
Talk show great.
A legend.
Phil Donahue has passed away. Of course,
88.
A lot of people saying, well, he was the husband of Marlo Thomas. Phil Donahue was a legend on his own.
Yes, he was talk show royalty.
He was the midday guy. He was the talk show midday guy.
He started the midday talk shows.
He paved the way for Maury Povich and Oprah Winfrey and all the idiots we've got out there now.
Hacks.
Yeah. Phil Donahue was cool. I love Phil. I actually watched him a lot.
He could conduct an interview. There was nothing, none of the seedy crap that you get now.
No, but he would interview, like you said. He would interview. He'd give you a tough question.
Yeah, he was not afraid to ask the hard questions.
He wouldn't throw you softballs. You know.
And if you skirted it, he would badger you until you answered it.
Yep. Loved Phil Donahue.
Yep, and praise to him for getting that girl.
Hopefully you guys got that reference.
And then actor John Aprea, who was in The Godfather Part 2, co-starred in Full House, Falcon's Crest, Knots Landing. He's one of those character actor guys.
Yep.
Who's been in damn near everything.
Famous French actor Alain Delon passed away. Now, would I normally mention a famous French actor? Probably not, but two things. that make him worthy of being mentioned here in Moments of Silence. Number one, he was not famous for playing the role, but he did play Zorro at one point in the 70s.
Yep.
And
by all accounts, he was one of those egotistical douchebags.
the other thing, if you'll remember, last year, my daughter forced me to watch a French movie. Remember that?
Yes.
Where I reviewed a movie called The Swimming Pool. He starred in that.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. So, had to bring him up. Now, another famous actress. See, here's the thing. I don't remember her in a lot. Gina Rowlands.
I don't recall her in much of anything either.
I think her big breakout role is Gloria, and I'm like, I never saw that movie.
I did, and it was just kind of a one-off. The song was the theme.
Really? The Laura Branigan song?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Boy, that seemed wrong.
But she was on the run from the mob, trying to protect a young boy who's lived in her apartment complex.
Yeah, all that I remember, yeah.
So.
But yeah, I just didn't remember Laura Branigan's
song. I thought
it
was part of it, but maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. You watched the movie better than me, which I did not.
Yeah, it was one of those, I think, homesick from school, and it was on HBO type
You have a
deals.
lot of those.
I do. Or late night, nothing better to do.
All right, I've got one more.
Are we going WWE?
Yep, Afa.
Yep. Afa
Anoa'i. Roman Reigns' uncle. He has lost his uncle and his father within the last few months. Afa Anoa'i, the second of the Wild Samoans to pass this year. Arguably one of the top tag teams in WWE history.
Yep.
Another blow to the family of Roman Reigns.
Rough year.
Yep.
So thoughts and prayers to all of their family and friends.
So Dave, what does that mean? What time is it?
It's time to get ill. No, it's time to pivot. Pivot in honor of the greatest TV father ever, the great Red Foreman.
And again, part 2 of season 2 should be out there right now as you're listening to this on Netflix. Your Uncle Dave has got to catch up.
That I do.
All right. 6 potential dumbasses here in the world of pop culture. Let us begin. Start off easy. Start off light. Okay, they have been talking about making a movie about John Madden for years. And talking about him as the coach and then moving on to the booth and the birth of the iconic video game.
Yeah.
And how he decided to, take a flat fee instead of a percentage of the profits in perpetuity.
Mm.
One of the last actors I would ever expect to be cast as John Madden will be our first dumbass.
Jonah Hill?
He'd be better.
I didn't hear who was going to be.
I know, that's why this is fun. It's because I try to find stuff that you have not heard about.
Yes. So I took a swing and a miss with Jonah Hill.
You wouldn't even get close. Jonah Hill is a better pick.
Yeah.
So the dumbasses involved here must be the casting people who have signed the contract. It is done. The ink is dry. John Madden will be played in an upcoming Hollywood biopic by Nicolas Cage.
Oh, come on! No!
Nick Cage
No!
is John Madden.
No.
Please tell me that's not
That
the
is
worst
the
casting
worst
ever.
casting. There have been some bad casting moves, but that is right up there with the worst of all time.
Yeah, I mean, what are they going to put him in a fat suit? What are they going to do?
Oh, God. No good can come from this.
No, I agree. I completely agree. Okay, this one's kind of a general, just people in social media suck. And
Yeah.
maybe kind of we'll bring in the Alphabet Mafia on this because I'm sure they're behind this a little bit. Billy Joel recently on the Today Show had to address the supposition, the interpretation of the fact that now people are saying that his classic song Piano Man was technically set in a gay bar.
Oh, come on!
Here's the evidence. According to
The Alphabet Mafia.
Yeah. Now, you and I have listened to this song for decades and decades and decades, and we know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
First point of evidence for the Alphabet Mafia is when they put bread in his jar and they say, "Man, what are you doing here?" Now, you and I know that's because the people in the bar realize that the guy behind the piano is more talented,
talent,
more
and
talented
shouldn't be playing in a bar.
in a dive bar. No, they're saying the guy is a naive straight guy in a gay bar.
Oh my God!
So when
idiots.
they're saying, "What man? What are you doing here?" They're saying this is a gay bar, and you're obviously a straight guy. And you and I know that's not true. You and I know it's because he's more talented and shouldn't be playing in a dive bar.
Exactly.
Oh, but it goes further. It goes beyond that. Paul is a real estate novelist who never had time for a wife.
Oh, come on.
And he's talking with Davy, who's still in the Navy.
And
probably will be for life.
In the Navy.
Yeah.
This was before the Village People came out, you fucking morons.
They're reinterpreting the song.
Oh my God.
And poor Billy Joel on the Today Show basically had to take the high road and say, fine, if that's how they want to interpret it.
Think of it.
Yeah.
That's nowhere near.
He basically says, you're not reading Paul the way I wrote it, though. Paul was a guy who was obsessed, despite the fact he had to take a day job.
He wanted
working
to be
in real
a writer.
estate. He wanted to write the great American novel.
And so that was his focus.
It wasn't the fact that he never had time for a wife, meaning he was gay.
It's just
he never had time for a wife because between his job and trying to write, he didn't have time for a wife.
Duh, some things are as simple as what they are.
But of course, the Alphabet Mafia has to read into Piano Man and ruin it for all of us.
Go away.
Kudos,
just be done.
Kudos to Billy Joel for taking the high road and just saying, okay, fine.
No, I wouldn't have been that nice.
Lionsgate, big studio.
Yes, usually has some good stuff.
Now, of course, they are putting out the Passion Project from Francis Ford Coppola, Megalopolis. Try saying that 10 times fast.
Egomanialopolis.
But here's the thing. Here as we're taping here on August the 21st, the Megalopolis trailer has been pulled because they have found fabricated quotes from critics.
Bum, bum, bum.
Right off the bat they found
AI hit already.
within hours of the release of the trailer.
AI bots already striking.
Yep, so the Lionsgate didn't do their due diligence. Didn't do it. Don't know if I've ever heard of a trailer being pulled hours after its release because of fabricated critic quotes. Brian Cox. You know him? Big, super British actor, was in Succession. And
yeah.
he is the latest haughty-taughty big shot actor to criticize Marvel and DC, say they've ruined the movies. And of course, this is another one of those idiot actors who goes, if Trump gets elected, I'm moving. Don't let America's door hit you in the ass on the way out. Go back to the UK, asshole. Because here's my problem with him. Not only did he pull that shit like Madonna and Bette Midler and all those other idiots, but for him to rip on Marvel and DC and act like he is some great auteur and some great actor, you realize what he's been doing since 2020, don't you?
No, I haven't even followed this twit.
You know what he's been doing. You know what he's been doing? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. He sold his ass out, and he's been doing that McDonald's bullshit since 2020.
Oh, he's the McDonald's voice.
Yeah, he's the one that does the whole ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
That's it.
Yeah.
You fucktard, go away.
Talk about a sellout. And he acts like Marvel and DC ruined cinema. He's getting paid how many hundreds of thousands of dollars?
Go ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Yeah. Talking about Big Macs and McNuggets. Fucker. All right, 2 more. Wrapping things up real quick. You're going to love this one, Dave. Silent movies. Kind of like prestigious, pristine. You don't want to fuck with them. Right?
Yeah, silent movies are golden.
Well, somebody's decided to fuck with them. And you will love what they're doing. They're releasing what they're calling sync projects. SYNC. What they're doing is they're finding appropriate silent movies and syncing them up with modern music.
Oh, God.
So the first release, which is coming out October the 4th. Now, we know there's a new Nosferatu coming out, right? But the original black and white silent Nosferatu...
Yes. I actually ad-libbed an entire vocal range for that movie. As Renfeld.
Well, guess what they're doing now? They're going to sync this movie, and it's coming out again October the 4th, to 2 albums from Radiohead.
Oh, Jesus God. Why fucking Radiohead?
And supposedly there are 2 more movies coming out in the next year. One will be synced to Pearl Jam, and one will be synced to REM.
I can deal with those better than fucking Radiohead.
Well, why do I want to listen to these albums, this music?
There's no
during
point.
the fucking movie.
That's stupid.
This isn't like, oh, you can listen to Dark Side of the Moon while you watch The Wizard of Oz. That was a one-time fluke coincidence.
Yeah. This is no.
All right, finally.
Just stop the stupidity.
Finally, last one. How about fucking Disney?
The rat strikes again.
Poor woman died due to an allergic reaction at a Disney Springs pub. And when her family decided to sue Disney for a wrongful death, Disney said, you can't do that. We have to go to arbitration. And they say, why? Because you signed up for Disney Plus.
What the fuck does that got to do with anything? Is it in the fine print?
Yes. If you signed up for Disney Plus, in the fine print, it says you cannot sue Disney for anything. Anything. Every case must go to arbitration. It doesn't matter if they were egregiously at fault at one of the theme parks. Now,
fuck you.
They realized how bad this looks, and they did waive the arbitration. So they are going to go to court to settle this because they realized how abysmally bad this looks.
Ooh.
That you sign up for a trial of Disney Plus, and that waives all rights to sue the company anytime, ever.
That is
in a theme
bullshit.
park, at a restaurant, anywhere.
That is awful.
And then all these people are going, well, you got to read the fine print. I would spend my entire life reading fine print if I read the fine print on every agreement I've ever signed up for. How about we pass some legislation to say, stop making the fine print 10 pages long? How about you boil it down to 3 or 4 paragraphs?
Yeah. Simplify it. Stop having all this crap that is so...
And they sneak shit like this in. All right, Dave, here are your choices. Disney Plus and Disney. Nicolas Cage as John Madden. Mr. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, Brian Cox. Ripping on Marvel and DC even though he's a sellout. Nosferatu and Radiohead. Piano Man set in a gay bar. Or Megalopolis trailers being pulled already due to suspicious critical quotes.
There's 4 that qualify big time.
I'm going Disney.
I've got to go with Disney.
I mean, you can't. Come on. And all these idiots out there who are saying
wrong.
you need to read the fine print.
Fuck
Nobody has the time to read all the fine print on every guy.
I have to go with Disney, but the close second is fucking Radiohead and Nosferatu.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. I agree. That's pretty bad.
Then Nicolas Cage is John Madden.
Yeah. Watch, that'll end up being an Academy Award-winning performance.
Jesus God.
He's a conquistador, Dave Heights.
He's the maestro, Kevin Crane.
Hope you enjoyed it. We did. Hope you had fun. We did. Next week.
If we didn't, we wouldn't do this.
Yep, next week, Lynch Mob live in concert in Wabash, Indiana.
Horizon.
Part 1?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
The only part? No, part 2's done, right? So they got to release it at some point. That 70s Show, Season 2, Part 2. Maybe jackpot. We'll see. I still got to watch Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. That's on the horizon. But until next week... God damn it! That fucking sellout prick. And then, of course, he ended up being in an X-Men movie, by the way.
Of course he did!
But he still rips on Marvel.
Because he's a fucktard.
He played William Stryker in X2.
Yeah, because he's a fucktard.
Yeah. Dave and I will be back in 7 days for your latest weekend hangover cure, your pop culture fix, your politically incorrect pop culture fix. But, of course, every Thursday morning, the sports edition drops. You don't want to miss that either.
Your politically incorrect sports commentary.
So check us out Thursday morning, or if you want to wait 7 days, I don't know how you can stay away from us for 7 whole days. That's a bad life choice on your part.
That's right.
I'm sorry.
As your life coach, listen to Sports Frenzy twice a week.
Once again, that's your Uncle Dave. I'm your Uncle Kev. Say goodnight to the kids, Dave.
Good night to the kids, Dave.